There's three different types of instruments that we could be using. There's what we call general clinical assessment instruments, and examples of those would be like the Beck Depression Scale. It could be things like the MMPI-2, and so those are generally scales that were not designed specifically for post-trauma stress evaluations or personal injury cases, but that we can use because they assess symptoms that are very important for our job of deciding whether there's a personal injury there and to what degree that injury is there. Then there's what's called the forensic relevant instruments, and these are tools that, even though they are not designed specifically for post-trauma stress or personal injury cases, they do measure constructs that are important for our evaluations. For example, they could be measuring response style, or they could be measuring psychopathy, or they could be measuring some other type of construct that we need to address, even though it is not specific to personal injury. Then there are forensic assessment instruments that are specific to the questions that you're raising in your forensic evaluation. Now, unfortunately, there are no specific forensic instruments now for personal injury, and we can only hope that in the future there will be some that have been developed, will be developed, and will be researched. But there are none, like for example in criminal cases where you have special competency to proceed scales and special scales that help you decide whether somebody is not guilty by reason of insanity. There are not those tools for personal injury cases. However, we can use, again, the general assessment scales, and we can use forensic relevant scales, like some of the malingering scales that we'll talk about in just a little bit. So there are numerous good tools that have good research behind them, and we'll talk about those.